Hi, everyone, and thank you for watching this video. So I did have an optional Teams meeting today, but it didn't look like anyone could attend. So that's absolutely okay. What I thought I'd do is create a short video for you to provide some guidance this week. So first of all, congratulations. You are now on the home stretch. So let's go ahead and see what we have for the rest of our couple weeks left. All right, so this week we are going to move into Module 17, which is Small Business and Entrepreneurship, HR related, of course. And this is actually one of my favorite topics. 90% of all businesses in this country are small business, and a lot of those businesses don't have the resources or financial means to hire professional HR experts. And so they kind of rely on themselves, and it gets a lot of small businesses in trouble. So let's go ahead and talk briefly about that. And then we'll talk about the final exam and we'll wrap up for the week. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop over to the course schedule. It's actually what I use almost every time I log in to see what we're working on this week, what I need to grade, what I need to do from an instructor side. I actually refer to this. I hope you do as well. And it looks like yesterday, or actually, yeah, yesterday, you had the study plan and the module assessment along with a written assignment. I believe that written assignment has already been graded, so please check. I was up early this morning and I felt really productive, so I went ahead and started grading. And I believe that is all set for you. This week, again, like I mentioned, we're going to talk about HR and small business. So you have just the study plan and the assessment, and then a discussion board. That is it. We are so close to finishing up. You're all doing a great job. So continue on. Let's talk about that final exam briefly, and then we'll move into a quick discussion about HR and small business. I'm going to pop over to the lessons. And I need to do a better job, and I apologize for this. I don't always look in the lesson folders. It's not something that I would naturally go in to look. I go into other areas. And so I did a really bad job this year, and I apologize or the semester, I should say. I did a really bad job in getting the information out of the future lessons and into the lessons and then the previous folders. And I hope that wasn't too confusing for you. I actually don't think it was because most of you, actually all of you, pretty much were able to get your work in, and I didn't get any emails asking where things were. So I apologize for that. I'm going to go ahead and put that on my list to do better next time. So I'm just going to tell you I didn't do a good job there, and I'm going to do better. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Module 17. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We're going to look at the final exam. Getting getting close to the end of the semester, right? All right, so the final exam will be available. I think it should be available now. Let me see. It looks like it is available. All right, so it is available. Opened up at 7 a.m. and you have until May 6th, Monday, to turn that in. It will shut off exactly at 11:59, regardless of where you are in the test. So please do not wait until Monday night, the 6th, to start on that final exam. Uh, it's open for the next 2 weeks. There's a lot of opportunity to take it. And should you wait, I'm not going to be up at 11:59 to reset the test for you. So it is what it is. Just going to throw that out there. It will be what it is if you do wait. The advantage of taking it early is that if something happens, internet's glitch. They do it all the time to me. I'm sure they do it to you. They glitch, something happens, they time out, whatever it is. I'm pretty understanding, and I have no problem resetting this final for you if that happens. But I certainly will not be up that evening to do that for you. And if you miss that due date, it is what it is. All right, let's take a look to see what we're looking at. You have 50 questions. It's multiple choice. You do have 180 minutes to take it. Listen, this is an open book test. We have to provide different ways for people to learn. So we have written assignments, we have study plans, we have the quizzes, we have discussion boards, and then we have multiple choice questions. And so some people do really well on these and others not so much. But again, I have to kind of level the playing field to make sure that all types of learning are represented. If you are someone that does not do well, that's okay. I typically don't do well on these types of tests myself. I prefer to write and process. I always did much better with that. So let's take a look. There's a video here as well that can help you out. Just kind of goes through the different types of questions that you might face. Basically, what I've done is I've gone through all the assessments that you have or had in the past, and then I kind of pulled out similar questions that you've already seen through all the study plans and the weekly module assessments. So most of these questions should not be foreign to you. You'll see that there. You can watch that video should you wish. And then also too, it is open book. Here is the Human Resource Management textbook in a PDF version. So you can go ahead and open that up, and that might help you instead of going into all the different modules. When you're taking the test, it's a lot of folders to open up, a lot of different things to open up. You might find it helpful to just open this one PDF up as well. All right, and then down here, disregard this discussion board. You can see that it's hidden from students. I turned that off. I had that. I put it. I used to have that, but I don't have it anymore. But I don't want to delete it in case I want to use it for the future. So what I do is on the screen, if you're seeing that, that is, you don't have that due. I promise. You can see right here. It says it's hidden from students. I just keep it in case I decide in the future to bring this back. I don't have to reinvent the wheel. Right, so to take that final exam, we're just going to click right there. Right, you do have 2 attempts. Just in case you have a bad run at the first one, you can take it again. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at this week's final module. Again, it's one of my favorites, and I hope you find it enjoyable. So there are 4 different tiles, or 4 different sections, I should say, that you will find in Module 17. First, you're going to go ahead and discuss how to determine resources. Then you're going to go ahead and learn about employment laws relevant to small business. You'll identify essential HR related forms and publications, and then discuss how to hire up for a startup. So first off, before I even talk about this, a lot of the information in here doesn't just apply to small business. It also applies to big corporations, especially when it comes to the HR related forms. Those forms are required whether you are at a large company or a small company. All right. So as you go through, you're going to learn a little bit about how you evaluate HR needs, how structures can help the organization be organized. That's why it's called an org chart, right? Also talks a little bit about the difference between an employee and a independent contractor. And there's some practice questions in there as well. Also talks a little bit about federal labor laws and regulations. Now, first off, I want to say that we have an employment law class completely dedicated, 16 weeks, completely dedicated to employment law. So this is just the tip of the iceberg. We're going to talk briefly about FLSA and the EEO, FMLA, and a lot of different areas. And you will see these different laws throughout all of your HR courses over the next, year or two, depending on how long you are in the program. Some people like to spread it out, and some people get it over with quickly. It also talks about these different types of forms, the I-9 form, the W-2 form, the W-4, and then a job application. Again, you'll learn a lot about these different forms. Now, these required forms, again, aren't just for small business, but they're for large businesses too. It talks a little bit about a job description and why it's important. So if you take another HR and almost any other HR class, I always talk about job analysis and the need for job analysis, and what it does is a systematic process that creates a couple different things. First, the necessity of the job, and then and it's used for everything that you do in a company. That job analysis yields 2 things: a job description and then job specification. So a job description is very important. Let's put it this way. Not only does it set expectations for new employees, it also defends the business against discrimination charges, right? Exempt versus non-exempt, if you're overpaying the employee or if you're underpaying the employee. And so job descriptions are extremely valuable. Uh, my clue, my 2 cents that I give to students is when you go to apply for a job, and I know it's all online, and you see the job description, and the job description is fairly vague. Doesn't give you a lot of information. It's poorly written. I'm going to tell you right now, that's not a company you want to work for, because, and hear me out, and I shouldn't say that, but it clearly indicates the type of, Because the job analysis is essential to everything an HR person does, and because the job analysis yields a job description, if that's done poorly or not at all, it means that they don't have a very good representation of HR at their company. And again, we know that HR is essential to organizations because they're number one employee's ally. They're trying to make sure that they have the right policies in place. They're trying to make sure that they're paying people fairly, overtime, all of that. So it's essential to look at that when you see that a company doesn't have a really good job description. That's kind of a red flag for me. When I look at that, it's probably not a company that I want to pursue. But that's just my 2 cents. All right. Policies and procedures. Why do we need policies and procedures? I'm sure you work for a company where the policy and procedure handbook was, a mile long, right? As the saying goes, this is why we can't have nice things. I assure you that every policy and procedure that you have is because somewhere along the way, someone ruined it for the rest of us. As an HR professional myself, I get it. I used to always hear, employees not complaining, but like kidding around. Oh, another policy, Nicole. Great. What's this one about? Unfortunately, I've been around a long time, and I've seen. Again, the expression is this is why we can't have nice things. You have someone who ruins it for the rest of us, and now we have to have a policy in place because of that, because we have to protect not only the employees, but we also have to protect the employer from lawsuits. And if you don't have a policy in place and you don't have those expectations set up, and if an employee does something that clearly is a problem, it opens the company up to lawsuits if they dismiss that person without just cause. Now, there's at will employment, and there's a whole lot of litigation involved, but having a policy in place uh, usually helps with that. Now, I am going to caveat that with just because you have a policy in place does not mean that policy is legal. Look at Abercrombie and Fitch a couple years ago, not a couple years ago, I think it was 2016. At one point, it was a couple of years ago, time's flying, but Abercrombie and Fitch had a policy in place. It was found that that policy was discriminatory, and then they took it all the way up to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court of the United States, the U.S. Supreme Court, actually sided with the employee, saying that the policy that they had was illegal. So I just want to talk a little bit about that. Just because there's a policy doesn't make it legal policy. All right, let's move on. So here are some 5 essential small business employee policies. At-will employment is crucial. Hopefully you learned a little bit about that this semester. If not, you will certainly learn about that going forward. Having a payroll policy, making sure that your employees, if they have to punch a clock, so to speak, making sure that they have that information in there so that they can get paid timely. Paid time off policy, code of conduct, having how to conduct yourselves professionally, and then any, especially EEO and harassment policies as well. All right, and then last, it talks a little bit about the startup environment. You can learn about what's essential jobs, what can help a company with essential jobs when a company is just starting out. All right, so that's about it. I think you're going to find this particular module interesting. Again, we have a lot of different courses in the HR program, training, and we learned. Let's take a look really quick at some of the things that we learned about. So first of all, we learned a little bit about workforce planning and recruitment. So we actually have a class, 256, Business 256, training and development, for instance. I teach that one. That is Business 234, compensation and benefits. I also happen to teach that. That is Business 258. So all of these things that we learned this semester, we have kind of breakout classes that talk a little bit about this in more depth. Let me see if there's anything else I need to address before I let you go. All right, so again, we have just the module, study plan, assessment, and then discussion board, and then the final exam. One thing I do want to mention, let's talk about that final exam one last time. Do want to mention that here's, if you complete the final exam by the 3rd, you will receive 25 additional extra credit points. So here's the thing about extra credit. Not only is it more work for you, it's also more work for us. So if we as an instructor provide extra credit, that's we're actually providing more onto our workload. And so a lot of teachers are like, you know what? Too bad I'm not offering extra credit. Why should I give you an opportunity to improve your grade when you had that opportunity all year long or all semester long and you chose not to do the work for whatever reason? Now I have to supplement your grade and do more work. Um, so a lot of teachers won't even offer extra credit. So what I've done to kind of be a win-win for both of us, so to speak, I'm going to go ahead and give you an additional 25 points. So that way, if you did miss an assessment or if you miss a discussion board or an assessment earlier in the semester, that it won't affect you too much. And plus, it comes out of a thousand points. 25 points out of 1,000 points if you missed an assessment isn't the end of the world, but they do add up. So those 25 points can make a difference. What I've decided to do is to allow students to finish that early. If you finish it by Friday, I'm going to give you an additional 25 points just for being proactive, because I feel as though that is probably one of the most important success factors for a student is being proactive, getting ahead of the game, working ahead, not waiting until Monday to do these assignments. So many of you do that, and it really can put you behind if something happens. I don't know about you, but life gets lifey. I wait till Monday to do something major, like maybe a written assignment or a final exam. And my luck, I'm going to get sick, or my computer's going to blow up, or my internet's going to do something, or maybe I get a flat tire and I have to deal with other things. I have a family, I have a dog. Maybe my dog gets sick and I have to take him to the vet. Life is always throwing us curveballs. And I assure you, my most successful students are ones that turn in their work early. I I almost guarantee that 100% of you in this class, when you were working ahead and you got your work done early, I bet you all of you have A's. Just gonna guess. Now, of course, there's some of you that wait to the last minute and you still get an A. Awesome, good for you. But I'm willing to bet that every single one of my students who did their work early also happen to have an A in this class, and that's not by coincidence. I will say in life, and I know some of you are, maybe you're young, starting out, or maybe you're balancing a lot of different things. Maybe you're not young, maybe you're my age, and you're balancing work and life and just school and a lot of things. The more strategic you are, and the more proactive you are, not just in this class, but with everything, it just makes it more organized for you and easier to accomplish your long-term goals. And so here, I know you're back in school for a reason, or you're going to school for a reason because you want to be successful. You want to have a better career. And the best way to do that is being proactive. And so that's why I'm giving you those extra points if you finish early. All right, that's it. I hope you have a great rest of the semester. Please reach out if you have any questions. And yeah, take care. Thanks so much.